The room was silent. The usual buzz of the Swaggart family gathering had vanished in a heartbeat. Jill Swaggart, usually composed and warm, stood before her family with tears glistening in her eyes. What she was about to reveal was something no one in the family had ever imagined, something hidden, long buried under years of smiles, prayers, and the public image of a perfect gospel family. As she began speaking, every eye in the room followed her carefully. Her voice trembled at first, a mix of emotion and hesitation, but then it grew steady, powerful, and deeply moving. Jill started recounting memories that few had witnessed, moments of struggle, sacrifice, and deep personal challenges that shaped the Swaggart family behind the scenes. The words flowed like a river, raw and unfiltered, painting a picture of a life that had been carefully guarded from public eyes. Family members listened, some in shock, some with tears streaming down their faces. They realized that the woman they had always known as a devoted wife and mother had silently carried burdens, made sacrifices, and experienced heartbreaks that even their closest loved ones had never known. And then came the revelation, a secret so profound, so unexpected, that the room was left in complete awe. Jill spoke of decisions made decades ago, choices that had shaped the family's path, and sacrifices made in silence to protect the unity and reputation of their beloved family ministry. The atmosphere was electric. Whispers floated in the air as the family tried to process the magnitude of what they had just heard. "I never knew," one family member finally murmured. Another shook their head in disbelief, unable to reconcile the image they had of their mother and sister with the profound truth she was revealing. Every word Jill spoke seemed to carve a deeper understanding into the hearts of her family members, leaving them speechless and emotionally overwhelmed. For Jill, it was a moment of liberation. For years, she had carried these stories in private, balancing her public persona with the private realities of a life full of sacrifices that only few could comprehend. Her tribute was more than just an emotional speech. It was a declaration, a heartfelt confession, and a tribute to resilience, faith, and unconditional love. The story of Jill Swaggart's secret tribute is not just a family moment. It is a testament to human strength, to the quiet battles fought in the shadow of expectation, and to the power of truth and vulnerability in bringing people closer. As the family embraced, tears were shed, hugs were shared, and for the first time in years, there was a profound sense of unity, understanding, and awe. Jill had done what no one expected. She had revealed the unspoken, transformed silence into truth, and left her family and everyone who hears this story utterly speechless. This tribute, once shared publicly, has the potential to touch millions. It is the kind of story that resonates beyond family walls, that connects with anyone who has ever hidden pain, made sacrifices for love, or carried burdens in silence. Jill Swaggart's courage in revealing this secret is an inspiration, a reminder that even in the most revered families, there are hidden struggles and untold stories waiting to be honored. The impact of Jill's words did not stop with her family. Friends, followers, and the wider Swaggart ministry community were left in shock and awe. People began to share the story on social media, creating a wave of emotional reactions, heartfelt comments, and viral engagement. News outlets picked it up, calling it a rare and deeply moving insight into the Swaggart family's private life. Jill's tribute had transcended its original purpose. It was no longer just a family moment, it had become a beacon of honesty, courage, and emotional transparency. As the days went on, the story continued to unfold. Family members began to open up more, sharing their own reflections, and the secret Jill had revealed became a catalyst for deeper connection, healing, and understanding within the family. What was once a tightly held secret had now sparked a journey of emotional growth, introspection, and communal support. And for Jill, the moment was transformative. She had faced the fear of revealing her truth, had confronted the potential judgments, and had emerged stronger, more authentic, and deeply respected by her loved ones. The emotional tribute that left everyone speechless was more than just a revelation. It was a defining moment in her life and the lives of her family members, a story that would be remembered, shared, and celebrated for generations. "I need to tell you all the truth," she began again, her voice steadier now but carrying a weight that made hearts tighten. "There are moments in our lives that we keep hidden, thinking they are too small to matter or too heavy to share. But today, I want to let you in. I want you to know the sacrifices, the fears, and the love that shaped our family in ways you never imagined." She started recounting specific events, moments when she had faced deep personal struggles that no one knew about, times when she had stayed awake for nights worrying about the family ministry, the legacy of the Swaggarts, and the pressures that came with being part of such a public life. She spoke of decisions she made in silence, protecting her family from truths that could have caused pain, scandal, or division. Each revelation was like a stone dropped into a still pond, creating ripples that spread through the room. Some of her siblings held back tears, others simply stared, mouths slightly open, trying to comprehend the depth of what Jill was revealing. "I carried these burdens because I loved you all," she said softly. "Because I wanted to protect the family, even if it meant sacrificing my own peace and comfort." Then came the moment that left everyone completely stunned. Jill revealed a secret from decades ago, a pivotal choice she had made that had redirected the family's path, one that had remained unknown even to her closest relatives. The story was shocking not because it was scandalous, but because it revealed the enormity of the responsibility she had silently shouldered. For the first time, her family saw the woman behind the public persona, the heart behind the smiles, and the courage behind the quiet strength. Tears streamed freely now. Hugs were shared, some trembling, some almost desperate. The room, once tense with suspense and disbelief, transformed into a space of vulnerability, love, and profound emotional connection. The Swaggart family was witnessing something rare, the unveiling of decades of hidden devotion and sacrifice told not as a complaint, but as an act of honesty and love. "This is why I always stood by, even when things were hard," Jill continued. "I couldn't always show you my struggles, but I wanted you to know that every choice I made was for the family, for us, for our faith, and for our legacy." The family sat in stunned silence, some processing the revelations, others reflecting on their own roles and responsibilities. There was an unspoken understanding forming, a realization that love often comes with unseen sacrifices, that courage is not always loud, and that the greatest truths sometimes lie in the quietest actions. Outside the room, news of Jill's emotional tribute began to spread. Social media erupted with clips, screenshots, and reactions. People were mesmerized by the raw honesty and courage she displayed. Comments poured in, "I can't believe this was hidden for so long. Her love and strength are unbelievable. This is why we admire the Swaggarts, not just for their ministry, but for their humanity." As the evening progressed, the family shared stories and reflections, prompted by Jill's revelations. Every conversation carried a new depth, a new respect, and a renewed sense of connection. The secrets that had once seemed too heavy to bear had now become a bridge, bringing everyone closer together and allowing them to appreciate the sacrifices made in silence. By the end of the night, Jill Swaggart had done more than shock her family. She had created a moment that would be remembered forever, a moment where truth met love, vulnerability met strength, and a family came together stronger than ever before. Her tribute had turned into a catalyst for healing, unity, and emotional awakening, not just for her family, but for everyone who would hear this story. And as the family embraced one last time that evening, there was a quiet, powerful understanding. Sometimes, the most extraordinary acts of love are the ones that remain unseen, whispered in silence, and revealed only when courage and faith guide the heart. Jill had revealed hers, and in doing so, left the world and her family utterly speechless. The night had deepened, but the energy in the room remained intense. Jill Swaggart had already left everyone stunned, yet she knew there was more to reveal. Her heart pounded, not with fear, but with the urgency to share the truths that had quietly shaped the Swaggart family for decades. She looked around, seeing her loved ones still processing the revelations, some still in disbelief, others wiping tears from their cheek. "I haven't told you everything yet," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "There are stories of sacrifice, love, and choices that no one has ever known until tonight." She began recounting moments that had tested her faith and resolve, times when the family ministry faced challenges that could have torn them apart, and she alone carried the weight of making decisions that protected their legacy. Each story revealed a different facet of her courage, from moments of deep personal loss to instances where she had to remain strong in the face of fear, not for herself, but for everyone she loved. Then came the revelation that truly left the family speechless. Jill revealed a secret about a hidden struggle she had endured, a decision she had made quietly, one that had affected the direction of the ministry and the family's lives in ways no one could have anticipated. The weight of this revelation was immense. Gasps filled the room, hands went to mouths, some sank into chairs, overwhelmed by the enormity of what they were hearing. "It wasn't easy," Jill admitted, her voice breaking slightly. "But every choice, every silent sacrifice was made because I love this family, because I wanted to protect us, guide us, and ensure we stayed united." Her words resonated deeply. Family members looked at one another with a new understanding, realizing that the woman they had always admired publicly had quietly carried burdens heavier than anyone could imagine. The atmosphere was thick with emotion, a mix of awe, love, and gratitude. Outside the family room, social media had exploded. Clips of Jill's emotional tribute began circulating online, drawing millions of views within hours. Comments flooded in, echoing the family's astonishment. "Her strength is incredible. This is what real love and sacrifice look like. I've never seen anything so raw and emotional." Influencers and media outlets picked up the story, calling it one of the most moving and authentic revelations from a public figure in years. Back in the room, conversations had shifted. Family members began opening up about their own experiences, reflecting on the sacrifices Jill had made. What had started as a tribute turned into a full-blown emotional catharsis. Everyone shared their own stories of struggle, fear, and perseverance. The room, once filled with tension and suspense, now overflowed with connection, healing, and understanding. Jill's tribute had also sparked a wave of introspection. Her courage to reveal the unspoken inspired her family to be more honest, more vulnerable, and more appreciative of each other. They realized that the bonds they shared were strengthened not just by love, but by the willingness to face uncomfortable truths together. As the night drew to a close, Jill reflected on what had just happened. She had been terrified to speak, worried about reactions, yet the response had been overwhelmingly positive. Her family and the world watching had been moved by her honesty. Her secret tribute, once a personal act of courage, had transformed into a powerful message that love, sacrifice, and truth can heal even the deepest wounds. In the days that followed, the impact of Jill Swaggart's tribute continued to ripple outward. The story went viral, shared across platforms with headlines highlighting the emotional revelations, the family's shock, and Jill's bravery. Interviews, reaction videos, and personal testimonies poured in, with many describing it as one of the most inspiring stories they had ever seen. For the Swaggart family, the experience had been life-changing. Relationships were strengthened, understanding deepened, and appreciation for Jill's resilience and love reached new heights. What began as a tribute had become a defining moment in the family's history, a story of courage, honesty, and unbreakable bonds that would be remembered and shared for generations. Jill Swaggart had done